I-Team has been busy looking into an alleged massive Medicaid fraud scheme with Texas ties that's targeting seniors. Ultimately, it could cost hardworking taxpayers billions of dollars. Tonight, I-Team reporter Brian New investigates how the federal government failed to find this out of the suspected fraud that was going on for months.
All the information on what it's not. And there's 4 billings.
When his Medicare statement came in the mail, 72-year-old Tom England knew right away something wasn't right.
This wasn't a mistake. There's no way somebody, with all the coding numbers that go with the bills.
In the early 1980s, England served as a special agent in the Army's Criminal Investigation Division. His mission was to spot fraud. Fast forward nearly 40 years.
What I saw was this billing.
And England's old Army training kicked back in when a mysterious company called Konaniah Medical charged his Medicare account for more than $8,000.
Intermittent urinary catheters? I don't use intermittent urinary catheters. And I thought, I can't be the only one. There has to be many, many, many more.
But even England did not know how right he would be.
So Konaniah was brought to our attention in May of 2023.
Erica Munoz, an investigator for the Dallas Better Business Bureau, says the BBB noticed a huge spike in complaints last summer about Konaniah medical equipment. The complaints were nearly identical. Konaniah was wrongfully billing Medicare accounts for urinary catheters. Catheters never ordered, never received, and never needed.
There's no, phone number to contact the company. There's no website.
Does this company even exist?
It does on paper.
So we're going to see if we can go find this company. The address is listed here in Grand Prairie. It looks like it's going to be right around here, somewhere inside this office building. As we search for the company's headquarters, it's a good time to let you in on what we also discovered about Konaniah. In a review by the National Association of ACOs, federal data shows last year Konaniah billed Medicare for $202 million for catheters. To put that into perspective, that's nearly $50 million more than what Medicare paid out for catheters in 2021 to every single medical provider combined.
I appreciate you letting us in here.
The property manager at the office complex took us to the listed headquarters address for Konaniah.
So this is 207 right here?
Uh-huh.
And no one...
They stopped paying rent for like 5 months ago.
The property manager told us after the new owner took over the company a couple years ago, he never saw anyone at the office during the day and never saw any medical equipment.
Not a whole lot here. It doesn't look like some place that a company doing $200 million worth of medical supplies.
But our investigation didn't end here. We discovered through state business records that Konaniah also operates under the name G&I Ortho Supply.
It says they're always here.
Our sister station in New York went to the company's listed address in Brooklyn. Neighbors say they haven't seen anyone there, but someone from the company is billing Medicare. The same year Konaniah billed Medicare for $202 million for catheters, records show G&I Ortho billed Medicare for $436 million. But it gets even bigger than that. The National Association of ACOs has identified 10 medical supply companies that combined charge Medicare for more than $3 billion for catheters. These companies, under their current ownership, didn't even exist 2 years ago, yet they accounted for a nearly 2,000% increase in Medicare billing for catheters.
I mean, that would be statistically so easy to pick up by anyone's normal audit procedure.
U.S. Senator Mike Braun from Indiana has demanded a full federal audit of Medicare. He says the American taxpayers deserve to know how this alleged fraud scheme went undetected for over a year.
Even this, for being purely bureaucratic in how it's run and how it's monitored, is beyond the pale.
Earlier this year, Senator Braun filed a bill he says would have prevented this alleged scheme. His bill calls on Medicare to use artificial intelligence to help detect potential fraud.
Bring it on. I mean, make the technology work for you.
England says whether it's using AI or simply good old-fashioned investigative skills like he learned in the Army, to him, it doesn't matter as long as the fraud is stopped.
This is real personal to me. I don't like fraud people. I don't like people committing fraud on other people, especially when it's my tax dollars.
Now, the federal department that oversees Medicare told us that it has suspended the accounts of nearly a dozen suppliers that were billing for catheters, but not before tens of thousands of these suspected fraudulent claims made it past Medicare's system checks and were marked as payable. Ultimately, Medicare told us that most of these claims were not paid. However, Nicole, when we asked Medicare for some clarification on what it meant by most, and then just how many then were paid, we haven't heard. We're still waiting for a response.
I mean, Brian, the numbers are astounding. Okay, this is a lot of money. And you also hear the word fraud and you say, okay, the scammer had to have had at least a Medicare account number, maybe some personal information. Do you know if that was the case here? Or do you know if that was the case for Mr. English and the other victims?
Yeah, we don't know exactly how they got the information, but we do know that Medicare records are some of the most sought after records by online hackers. In fact, Nicole, if you go to the dark web right now, you would likely find thousands, if not tens of thousands of Medicare account numbers that are up for sale.
It is incredulous. Brian New with the I-Team, we really appreciate you digging into this. If you're listening to this and you're at home and you're like, this may be me, I think my Medicare account may have been fraudulently billed, we want to hear from you. You can reach out to Brian New and our I-Team at iTeam@ktvt.com.